In essence, the claim for the miracle of the speed of light in the Quran is as follows. Angels are made of light, therefore they travel at the speed of light. The Quran says that the affair, which is Allah's will, ascends to him in a day, which for us is 1,000 years of what we count. The moon was used for counting years. Therefore, the distance travelled by the moon in 1,000 years equals the distance travelled by light in one day. First, I'd like to show the difference between sidereal and synodic. Sidereal rotations are in relation to the stars, whereas synodic rotations are relative to the position of the Sun from the Earth. For example, if we start from a position where the Moon is between the Earth and the Sun, as the days pass, the Moon orbits the Earth. Once the Moon has travelled 360 degrees around the centre of the Earth, it has completed a sidereal month. This takes approximately 27.3 days. However, in the time it takes the Moon to travel 360 degrees around the centre of the Earth has orbited partially around the Sun. At the end of this sidereal month, the Moon is not in conjunction with the Sun. In order for the Moon to come into conjunction with the Sun once more, we need to continue this process until we reach 29.53 days. This is a synodic month. At the end of a sidereal month, the difference between the angle of the Moon and the angle of the Sun is approximately 27 degrees. With that out of the way, let's look at the miracle claim. Rebuttal number 1. Selective data analysis. So, which is it? 1,000 years or 50,000 years? Rebuttal number 2. Could this information have only come to Muhammad via revelation from a supernatural force, or could he have got it from somewhere else? So even if the equation in this claim was accurate, and I will show that it's not, then it rules out the possibility of it being a miracle, simply because it was information he could have obtained from just about any Jew or Christian. Rebuttal 3. How far does the Moon travel in 1 year? The average velocity for the Moon is 1023 meters per second. Multiply that by 60 seconds to give meters per minute. Multiply that by 60 minutes to give meters per hour. There are just over 8,766 hours in a sidereal year. Therefore, the velocity of the Moon multiplied by this number of hours is just over 32 billion meters. So, in 1,000 years, it travels 1,000 times further. Dividing by the number of seconds in a sidereal day, just as the miracle claim does, would give us the speed of light as just over 374 million meters per second, which is monumentally wrong. The reason for this discrepancy is because the true distance the Moon travels in 1,000 years is further than the miracle claim says it is. So, how did they get it so wrong? The first thing to note is that the claim uses 12,000 months to denote 1,000 years. It then multiplies this figure by the number of sidereal hours in a month to give us the total number of hours in 1,000 years. This number is incorrect. The main problem is that there are 12 synodic months in a year, but the claim is multiplying this by the number of sidereal hours in a month. There are actually 13.4 sidereal months in a year. So by multiplying by 12,000 months instead of 13,359 months, the author was able to hide 1,359 from the result. This was evidently not enough, so the following tweaks were made. The Moon velocity was reduced from 3682.8 km per hour to 3682.07 km per hour. Cosine was introduced to lower the result by a further 10%. And so finally, on to the last point. The cosine part of this equation is supposed to be due to Einstein's theory of special relativity or general relativity. It depends on which website you read. The simple fact is, this is not related to either of those scientific theories at all. It's simply thrown in to reduce the result. Neither of the equations used in those scientific theories use a cosine. And now I will prove that the cosine is pure trickery. An equation is always balanced. For example, distance equals speed times time. 100 meters equals 10 meters per second multiplied by 10 seconds. If you halve the speed, you will halve the total distance travelled. You never need to change the equation for each scenario. To be correct, the equation should produce a correct result for every input scenario. So, back to the miracle claim. The cosine part of this formula is based on degrees difference between a synodic month and a sidereal month, which was approximately 27 degrees. So, if the moon travelled approximately 1/3 of its current speed, this equation should give us approximately 1/3 of the speed of light. In this scenario, there would only be 4 sidereal months in a year. The difference between a synodic month and a sidereal month would then be 90 degrees. Now here's the important bit. The cosine of 90 degrees is 0. As you can see, this equation is a complete fabrication. It uses incorrect values, it introduces an unnecessary cosine factor, and it isn't even an equation because the left does not always equal the right. Whoever came up with this was really quite a clever person. Certainly clever enough to know that they were lying to you.